What's up, Sneaky Nation? It's Sneaky P here, back with all the news after week number 5 and year number 2 of our San Francisco 49ers franchise. The 49ers are coming off a bye week, but we still have a lot to do. First and foremost, we got to get ready for the Tennessee Titans, so we are going to be doing some practice here. Titans having a very good season so far. They are currently at 3-2, but they also had a big upset win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is definitely a team on the rise, and the 49ers got to be prepared for them here. And the offense coming out of the gate looking pretty strong here on left side. This is Todman with the catch. One more and they will have the goal on 4th and 5. Todman will deliver and the 49ers offense will get the goal. Definitely a good sign for this offense. Hopefully they can deliver. This has been a team that's really been struggling on offense since week number 1, and they need to turn things around if they would like to get their season back on track, back where they would like to be. It's certainly not too late at this point, but things are going to have to change now that defense taking over here as Marion had a catch for 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 on the left side. Good coverage there by Zach Brown. 3rd down and 6. Pressure on the way for Kaepernick, and he is going down. That is Armstead on the sack. Then on 4th and 19, play action. Kaepernick pressure on the way again, and this one's going out of bounds. So a good start for the defense here. 1st and 10 on the left side, and DeMarcus Avery will have the interception there. And then once more for the offense trying to make something happen. Go into the end zone. Tremaine Brock has other plans. The 49ers offense and defense both getting the gold, and maybe this is a sign of things to come after a much needed bye week where the 49ers can get their heads back on straight. Definitely looking good in practice. Our press question of the day is coming from Jalen Young, and this is actually a question that I liked a whole lot, so big shout out to Jalen. Have your expectations for this team changed? And to be honest, they haven't. I know we're sitting at a 1-3 record right now. A lot of people are not too happy being at 1-3 right now, but we didn't take over this 49ers roster last year and think this was going to be a one-year rebuild where the next year we're competing to win the division. First of all, we're in a very, very tough division. The Seahawks and Cardinals are both teams that could contend for a Super Bowl right now. The Rams are also a team on the rise with a very good young defense. This was going to be a project that would take a little bit of time, and I do feel very encouraged with the moves that we've made. Obviously taking Chantrell Wilkerson, trading back up in the 1st round to take Chantrell Wilkerson, and trading Eric Reed to get that done was something that a lot of people might not have agreed with, but Chantrell Wilkerson has been playing incredible so far. He's a very young corner as is. He's 6'4" and has lockdown potential, and he has shown that early on, getting 3 interceptions in 4 games, as well as really shutting down some of the league's better wide receivers, including Allen Robinson. He has looked good early on, and we are thrilled there. Obviously, the injury to Sean Kendall has kind of hindered what we have seen from our defensive side of the draft class, but he played a little over the half of the first game in week number 1. He got an interception. He was making tackles, making plays. We do get him back soon, but the injury to that certainly was not expected. It did hurt us a little bit, and then when, Jaquiski Tart went down as well, I definitely think it put the defense in a bind a little bit. Injuries happen. It's something we have to deal with, but overall, I've been very encouraged with what we've seen. We feel very happy with Dimitri Todman and what we've seen from him. Willie Snead looks like a great pickup as well. And then you got to look at Kirkland Marion, another guy who really has a ton of potential. So I love the direction this team is heading right now. And while we might be at 1-3, I do think it's also very important to remember we've been playing some of the best teams in the NFL. The Cardinals are off to a very hot start right now. They're looking like one of the teams that could be competing for the Super Bowl again. And, the Eagles, same case. They are undefeated at this point. So really, the 49ers have kind of been in a difficult situation going up against some of the better teams in the NFL. But I do think we are capable of playing better than we have been. That's certainly something that does need to happen. I don't disagree. But overall, I would say we're right about where I expected to be for this team. And hopefully, if the season goes on and maybe we were playing games that are a little bit more in our favor, we can pick up those victories and not stumble them away like maybe we did last year. And if we can see some growth from this team moving forward, I would be very, very thrilled with the direction we're heading. But right now, I would definitely say we are kind of where I thought we would be. But yeah, let's go ahead and get on to the stories. But again, big shout out, Jalen. That was a great question, man. Let's go ahead and check out the stats, though. The Rams would get the victory over the Jags 38-14 here. The Rams improved to 3-2 on the year. The Jags falling to 1-4. Rams at 8-8 last year. The Jags at 9-7. And this is not what they anticipated happening. You know, the Jags had a lot of very young players on offense. They were kind of expecting to take the next step with their success, but the defense has just been letting them down this season, and they are certainly not where they expected to be. You see Daryl Cleveland getting another touchdown. Pretty solid game from him. Kadarius Folston getting a touchdown as well. We know how good he is. But overall, the Jags defense is really what is holding them back at this point. David Perry, a defensive tackle, going to get the sack there. Jarrett Joyner and Gaines getting 3 interceptions. Obviously, Blake Bortles going to have to be more careful with the ball as well. And then you see all the fumbles being forced too. 36-17, the Packers with a victory over the Ravens. The Packers improved to 2-2 on the year. The Ravens falling to 1-3. Packers 10-6 last year. The Ravens 3-13. And again, we're seeing Joe Flacco start off the season not playing well at all. He's got to be under fire. And again, towards the end of last season, he started to turn it around a little bit. But seeing him struggle this much, you got to wonder why the Ravens didn't use one of their top draft picks on a quarterback. They did go with Javaris Forbes. He's been very good for them early on in his career. Maybe they felt defense was needed a bit more. Obviously, Flacco does have the resume as the quarterback who can get it done, but these last 2 years, he has been struggling. 31-10, the Texans with a victory over the Browns. Texans improved to 3-2 on the year. Browns falling to 1-3-1, and Morant going to get some time here, but then, of course, Houston Church is looking like the real deal. He didn't throw for as many yards as we have been seeing him throw for in this game here. Obviously, the Texans do boast a very good defense, and that could be part of the reason why. But overall, I do think he is probably the franchise quarterback for the Browns. Demario Davis, another good game from him, and he is just consistently making plays for that Browns defense. There is Cushing with the interception, returning that one for 21 yards. No fumbles on the day. 31-34 in overtime. The Eagles going to get the victory over the Giants, and this one is big. The Eagles now 5-0 on the year. The Giants currently at 1-4. So I do think it's worth noting, while we have other teams that have yet to lose, the Eagles are actually the only team currently 5-0. We've had teams that didn't lose, but they also tied the game. I don't know how to rule that one that way, but the Eagles 5-0, they went 4-12 last season, so a complete turnaround here for the Eagles. The Giants 1-4 currently, they went 9-6-1, so you know, after a rough start, Eagles looking like they could take that division there. 52-21, the Steelers are back on track with a blowout victory over the defending Super Bowl champs, the Cincinnati Bengals. The Steelers at 4-1 now, the Bengals at 2-3. The Steelers 9-7 last year, Bengals 9-6-1, but again, they ended up going on to win the Super Bowl. But we talked about how the Steelers looked like the best team through 3 weeks. They did lose last week to the Tennessee Titans. Of course, here they are again with another outstanding game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Is that more of the Steelers playing bad, or did the Titans just have a very good game? And it's something that we have to consider because we're about to play this very Tennessee Titans team, and they certainly look like a team capable of really rising their game, and hopefully that doesn't happen against us, or we could fall to a 1-4 record. 29-10, the Jets going to get the victory over the Panthers here. The Jets at 2-2, Panthers at 1-2-1. Jets went 8-8 last year. The Panthers at 9-7, but the struggles continue. Cam Newton just not getting it done right now. And, you know, the Panthers certainly, again, we talked about it last year, had higher expectations. They kind of got their act together towards the end of the year to finish 9-7, but it just wasn't enough to make the playoffs. And starting off 1-2-1 is not going to get it done either. They're going to have to turn their season around quickly and win some of these games that, you know, I feel like they should be competing in. But, of course, it's anybody's game. We're just going to have to continue to follow and see how it all plays out. 24-16, the Chiefs would get their first victory of the season. And this is a battle of the backup quarterbacks. Andrew Luck and Alex Smith both out with injuries. And those injuries have pretty much just sank these two teams. The Chiefs currently at 1-4 with this win, went 9-7 last year. The Colts 0-5 with this loss, went 8-8 last year. And it's just not where either team wanted to be. But when you lose a quarterback like that, it can sink your team. And I think that's what you're seeing here. Look at Tajay Sharp, though. playing with the Chiefs here, he had an outstanding rookie year with the Titans, but maybe with drafting DeMarco Bullitt, they decided to move on from him. I'm not sure I entirely understand that decision. We'll actually check out the transactions later to really see what took place, but I don't know why they would make that move with Sharp having as good of a rookie year as he did. 19-17, the Broncos with a victory over the Redskins here, and Paxton Lynch back in the game for Zach Lindsey. And again, we're not going to see Denton Ritchie play in this one. I don't know if Zach Lindsey went down with an injury or what took place there, but the Broncos are currently at 4-1. They went 5-11 last year, so they have completely changed the tide, and they are looking much better this season than last, much like the Eagles are currently doing as well. The Redskins, on the other hand, fall to 3-2 on the year. They went 7-9 last year, still in a very good spot for them, but obviously a win there would have been nice. But, you know, within that division, they are looking very good too. Obviously, the Eagles are out in front. 24-14, the Cardinals with a victory over the Cowboys. The Cardinals improved to 4-1. And again, we talked about it last time. Romo and Prescott out with injuries. Nassib just not able to get it done. The Cowboys fall to 1-4 on the year. Not expected from them. The Cardinals going 5-11 last year. Again, already with 4 wins here. And then the Cowboys going 10-6 last year. Not the start they wanted, but much like the Colts, much like the Chiefs, when your quarterbacks go out, it can really affect your game. And I think that's what we are seeing here as well. They did get a win in week 1 against us. I think they lost week 2 fully healthy as well, but since that point, they've been dealing with some injuries. So it'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season when these players get back. 31-10, the Chargers with a victory over the Raiders here. Chargers at 3-2 now. The Raiders 3-1-1, so they pick up their first loss of the season. Again, Chargers going 14-2 last year. They have won 2 in a row now, though. The Raiders going 7-9, so still a very good start for them. But look at that. Keenan Allen, 5 catches, 83 yards, but 3 touchdowns on the day for him. Defensively, Warlow would lead the way with 12 tackles, sacks 2.5 by Joey Bosa, who had 3 last week. 5.5 sacks through 2 games for him. Definitely having a great sophomore campaign here. Fumbles forced, Williams and Perryman. Perryman would recover. 34-23, the Vikings with a victory over the Lions here. Vikings currently at 4-1, looking to win the division again. The Lions, I'm sorry, not win again. The Lions at 2-3. The Lions won this division last year at 12-4. So currently sitting at 2-3, they're not happy. The Vikings were right behind them at 11-5, and they are off to the races to try to win the division this year. Obviously, the Packers currently sitting at 2-2, falling a bit behind as well, but it is still early on in the season. Anything can happen. This was the best division in football last year, and Vikings off to the start early on to win it this season. Fumbles forced and won by Alexander. He would recover. 24-14, the Bills get the victory over the Falcons. The Bills improving to 3-2 on the year after going 10-6 last year. Falcons also went 10-6 last year, but they represented the NFC in the Super Bowl. Currently, they are 2-3 on the year. Not where they would like to be at all. Plenty of time to work with. Things can still change, but you know, they're going to have to turn it around if they would like to get back there. The good news for them is, outside of the Bucs, no team in their division is standing out a whole lot, but it's still not the start they wanted to have if you're a team expecting to make the Super Bowl again. Interceptions, Deion Jones would have 1, returning it for 19 yards there. Fumbles forced, 1 by Chris Cook and 1 by Claiborne. Each would be recovered. 38-13, the Seahawks with a big victory over the Titans that the 49ers are about to play. So the Seahawks improving to 2-3 on the year. The Titans falling to 3-2. Seahawks at 9-7 last year. The Titans at 7-9, and this just did not look like a good game from the Titans. I don't really know what to expect from them. We see them blow out the team that's looked like the best team so far in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I say blow out. We saw them get the victory, I should say. And then we see them get blown out by the Seahawks here. It really might just depend on which Titan team shows up against the 49ers. We could see the great version of the Titans that beat the Steelers, or if we get lucky, we might see this version of the Titans that lost to the Seahawks. 17-14, the Patriots have made it 3 in a row with James Vallejo here. 2 touchdowns, 233 yards, 0 interceptions. The Patriots improved to 3-2, and the Bucs getting their first loss of the year, falling to 4-1. Patriots again going 10-6 last year. The Bucs at 7-9. So Despite the loss, the Buccaneers still looking much improved from last season. But what about James Vallejo? Started off his career a little rocky. I believe he threw 3 interceptions in his first game. They lost their first 2, and it was certainly a very competitive roster that still had high expectations. But since then, railing off 3 wins in a row now, and certainly looking like the guy that might be able to take over for Tom Brady. We'll see. Getting to the players of the week, Russell Wilson going 20 of 29, 290 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown for him. Brandon Graham, 10 tackles and 3 sacks. Jackson with 6 tackles and 2 interceptions. And Le'Veon Bell, 17 carries, 159 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown for him. A monster effort once again by the Steelers offense, and they just continue to throw points on the board there. Let's check out the 49ers stats so far. 77 121, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions for Colin Kaepernick. Kirkland Marion really has been struggling a little bit more in recent weeks, still getting 5.1 yards a carry. Carlos Hyde at 4.5, but we need to see more touchdowns from them. Dimitri Todman, 24 catches, 4 touchdowns for him. Willie Snead with 19 catches, 262 yards. Other players are going to need to get more involved. Again, the 49ers offense has greatly been struggling in the red zone. We need to find ways to get more touchdowns and not settle for field goals. That comes to Colin Kaepernick. It comes to our running game as well with Kirkland Marion and Carlos Hyde to get it done there, but it is worth paying attention to. Interceptions, Seantrell Wilkerson, 3 interceptions on the season, and as you can see, 49ers defense much improved, getting more interceptions so far this season than they had all of last year. Lynch and Buckner forcing fumbles there, and I believe Armstead has forced some as well. I don't know why that doesn't show up. Sometimes they glitch that stat a little bit. I'm not sure. DeMarcus Avery with that fumble recovery there for a touchdown. Kicking, look at this. Joel Edison has been having a great season so far, and for whatever reason, they completely glitched his stats out. I don't know what happened here. We saw him make 5 last week alone. It kind of upsets me a little bit because I'd like to know how he's doing. I believe he's only missed 1. But anyway, Blake Bortles, we talked about it. The Jags having one of the more high-powered offenses in the NFL. They're currently 1-4. However, he has thrown for the most yards. There is Church, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for him. Zach Lindsey, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But again, he might be out with an injury. We'll have to pay attention to that because Paxton Lynch did get that time there. Looking at the touchdowns, Roethlisberger throwing for 14 touchdowns. Zach Lindsey, the rookie, coming in at number 2 at 12, tied for Drew Brees. That is great company to be in. Again, there's Houston Church, and then James Vallejo, 10 as well. He does have 6 interceptions. But look at Kirk Cousins, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. When he's playing like that, it's going to be very difficult for the Redskins to bench him and maybe promote Denton Ritchie. So we're going to have to pay attention to what happens there. But look at John Bridges, a rookie out of Louisiana Monroe with 6 rushing touchdowns on the year. He does only have 2.5 yards a carry, but he is finding his way into the end zone. Here's Morris Presley as well for the Cardinals, another rookie with 4 touchdowns. I'm trying to go through this fairly quickly, guys. Bear with me. I'm sorry if I'm talking about one thing for a bit too long, but I do want to show everything in a shorter amount of time if possible. There's Dante Moncrief, 30 catches for him. And obviously, we do know, look at Kadarius Folston here, 27 catches, 2 touchdowns. And again, we had, I believe, 24 catches with DeAndre Todman. So that's with a bye week as well, so it's worth remembering that. There's Todman with his 4 touchdown catches. So definitely feel very happy with our selection there. Demario Davis would lead the NFL in tackles right now. Greg Hardy, 8 sacks already. Khalil Mack, the sack attack was 7. Joey Bosa was 6.5 there. And we're going to have to go a bit down the list to get to our players there. Interceptions, Brandon Marshall, Josh Norman, Graham, and Maxwell, all with 3. So I've been told if you're not in the top 250 in tackles, your stats won't show here, which greatly sucks because obviously Seantrell Wilkerson should be on this list at number 3, or tied for number 1 actually. But again, with that stat happening that way, it's not going to show him, which a little bit disappointing. Blocks, we're going to have a few here, 4 on the year, including Jimmy Ward's block punt. Safety is won by Jonathan Hankins there, and then touchdowns, only 3 on the year, and once again, they're going to kind of, I say glitch out, but really just because DeMarcus Avery is not in the top 250 in tackles, he's not going to be shown there, but we know he has a defensive touchdown as well. So I'm going to scroll down the list here looking to see if our kicker appears on this list, but for whatever reason, the game has just completely ignored Joel Edison's stats. I don't know what would be the cause of that, but he is having a very good rookie campaign so far. As we check out all of the returning stats and stuff like that. So 2 returned touchdowns for Brandon Cook in the punt return game. Draft stories. Torrey Leonard has decided to forego the remainder of his senior season to focus on a master's degree. All right, we're definitely going to have to pay attention to him in the draft. It looks like he might be an offensive lineman, but I could be very wrong there. We will look around for him in the draft stories, though, because might have a lot of ability. Andre Gilden, a tight end, 6'4", 22 years old, out of Texas A&M. Seems to be a pretty good catcher there, and projected to go late first round. Josh Deloach, 6'4", 22 years old, out of Oklahoma. But that run blocking could be key if the 49ers would like to help out, Kirkland Marion and get this run game going in the future. The Titans are our next matchup here. Marcus Mariota leading the 3-2 Titans. Their record currently 3-2, like I just said, but they do have a very impressive victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Murray and Henry, a great running back tandem. They also have Christian, a rookie out of Ole Miss, there as well. Fowler at fullback. At wide receiver, not the greatest group, but they do have DeMarco Bullitt, a rookie out of LSU, and a player with a ton of potential. The real matchup issues for the 49ers defense, though, going to come at tight end. They have Delaney Walker, a former 49er, and Jace Amaro, both tight ends with a lot of speed. We've seen the 49ers struggle against tight ends all year long, and going up against this combo is not going to be an easy test at all. At right tackle, Jack Conklin, second-year pro from Michigan State. But look at this, Sealy Kirkendall, another rookie here for the Titans, another very good rookie, also out of LSU, so he was actually a teammate with DeMarco Bullitt, the wide receiver there for the Titans, and those are their 2 top draft picks. Both players very, very good, both taken in the first round, and we're going to have to keep an eye on them. Kevin Dodd there, going to be another guy worth noting, a very good rookie season from him. We'll have to see how he has improved in year number 2. Johnson going to be at free safety, and then at strong safety, Cersei out of North Carolina. And, again, this is a Titan team that looks a lot better than last year. They didn't play well last week against the Seahawks, but they looked very good in a game against the Steelers, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Tartan Kendall, both still injured. They will be out for 2 more weeks there. Brian Arakpo and Stone going to miss the game for the Titans there, and that's actually a pretty big blow to their defense. Let's go ahead and check out the trade I talked about earlier. Tajay Sharp going to the Chiefs for a 5th rounder, a 7th rounder, and a 7th rounder next year. That is a very cheap price for a rookie wide receiver that had an outstanding season last year. I don't know why they would make this trade. They do, again, have a lot of faith in DeMarco Bullitt, but again, they don't have the best receiving core anyway. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It seems like it would have been very convenient to pair him up with Bullitt. I don't know what the Titans brass was thinking with that trade, but I don't think it was a great one for them. Anyway, next up, we do have the Tennessee Titans, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see y'all there. Later.